What's up, everybody in the podcast world? Because this tonight is the Ricky Dick Bullshit Podcast, episode 15, with Lone Wolf Bobby Blade.
I'm back again.
That's right, brother. And we got in the house. We got to my left here. We got Big Beard Dudley back after Cowboy Dudley took over his spot at the last watch party.
What's up, podcast world?
And to his immediate left, we got B-Money, four-time state champion.
What's up, what's up?
Guys, I want to give a quick shout to Sabu. We lost the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal, death-defying one earlier this week. And it is still weighing heavily on our souls. Always. Guys, while I share, hit my man with your best because I'm about to play this video here in a minute that's going to show Bobby Blade running these laps.
Oh, jeez. Here at the EWA Rumble Royale a couple weeks ago.
Which was a fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The Rumble Royales are always great. How do I work this gimmick here?
Man,
that one, I do not know how they got down like that.
Oh, well.
I would almost say that the Royal Rumble as a pay-per-view is one of my favorite, is at least top 2 pay-per-views for me every year. The match is so fun. Even if, they don't have the best, sometimes, they don't have the right roster, I feel like, for the Rumble.
Yeah.
They put some people in there, and I don't know. But, I don't know, every year it's pretty good, and the excitement and just, waiting for somebody, never knowing who it's going to be is amazing concept.
Well, the EWA, the Elite Wrestling Alliance, for those of you that don't know, they just had their the Rumble Royale. That's kind of tough to say when you're used to saying Royal Rumble, but anyway, they just had the Rumble Royale, and this is the 3rd one. And every year that we've had it has always produced a lot of excitement, a lot of great moments, and all that stuff and everything. This year was no exception. We had it last month. What was last month? April? Yeah, April. We had it in April, and April 18th actually, and it was a great time. We just had Prime 15, which is the normal shows and everything, in between the great big shows and all that. But the Rumble Royale has a lot of great moments. I had a great moment this year in it.
You did.
Made my big return to the ring after 8 long years.
Yeah. He already did that, but
I think you lasted a whole 5 seconds.
No, it was longer than that, brother.
Oh yeah, it took you 6 seconds to get over the rope.
I was in there about probably 20 seconds. So.
I thought you took on Evil Nate. Oh wait, never mind. He scared you with the chainsaw.
Well, let me run through this real quick. Okay, see, what happened was we had the first 6 competitors. If you're not familiar with the Rumble Royale, it's the same concept as the Rumble, Royal Rumble. Then you start off with 2 guys in the ring. They face off for a minute or so, 2 minutes, whatever it is. Next person comes in. Next person comes in. Next person comes in. I was number 7, and I was sitting at the commentary table. And number 6 had just gotten the ring. There's action and blah blah blah, and then everybody's down. And then the countdown starts on the big screen and everything. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then all of a sudden, the announcer goes, "Introducing number 7 into the Rumble Royale." And my music started playing. And I was like, "Oh, yeah!" And I stand up, I take my glasses off and everything, my new music, and I have my non-copywritten music.
Yes, it is a pretty good music, too.
Oh, thank you. Actually, a lot of people hate it, but that's okay.
I don't know why they hate it, because it actually has the original Prankster sound to it.
Well, the thing is they're used to original Prankster and that thing and all that. And I love original Prankster, but with more people going to streaming and going on YouTube and everything, original Prankster is one of those songs that just constantly gets hit with copyrights and all that stuff. So I had no choice pretty much but to change it, out of respect for everybody that puts their stuff up, on YouTube and everything.
I think it though.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I think it's good. I like it.
Song.
But so anyway, it plays, and I get up, and I'm like, oh yeah. I take my glasses off. I step around the commentary booth and everything, and I'm sitting there, and I start strutting down the ring. I take my jacket off. I fling it at somebody. I find the nearest ring post, and I start making sweet love to that ring post, and making sweet love to it, like it was my girlfriend, like it was my wife, like it was my future baby's mama.
It's been violated.
Yeah, that's what Trippin' Balls on commentary, he says, you molest that ring post, Bobby Blade, you deserve this, you've earned this. After 8 long years, you broke your collarbone, you thought you were done, and then finally tonight, at the Rumble Royale, you get into the ring for your first time in 8 long years. I get in there and I do my normal shtick, you know, I grab the microphone and I say, you know, if you don't know who I am, let me introduce myself to you. I'm the meanest, cheatingest, chokingest, eye-pokingest, crotch-kickingest, your mama stickingest, spitting on babies, smacking old ladies, one-man domestic disturbance, the man, the myth, the living legend, the true old-school icon, the man you paid to see, Lone Wolf Bobby Blade.
Great call.
Hell yeah.
And then I'm looking at everybody that's laying down in the ring, and I say, I'm going to take every single one of these people, and I'm going to throw them over the top rope, and I'm going to win this Rumble Royale and become the #1 contender to the Elite Wrestling Alliance Heavyweight Championship. And then by that point, as I'm talking about that, the countdown behind me is going on the clock, and it gets down 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I hear, it's a chainsaw revving, and out comes Evil Nate, and I look down the ramp and I see Evil Nate there with a chainsaw, and I look at him and I was like, now heck with this, I'm out of here. I set the microphone down and I go find the nearest corner and I climb up so sveltely and so coercively, if that's even a word.
It's the greatest timeout ever.
Yeah, elegantly. I step up. I'm not going to mention the fact that my belly was trying to pull me over one side while my lack of balance was trying to pull me back into the ring, but I made it up over that top rope and back down to the ground, and I said, I am not a crazy man, and I went back to that commentary booth and I put my headset back on, and I listened to the announcer say, Bobby Blade has been eliminated. And then finally some Trippin' Balls and Aaron Rose are on each side of me and all that stuff. They're like, what was that? What was that? And I'm like, what was what?
Exactly.
And he's like, you know, you could have won. You had a chance to win the Rumble, but you just got out of the ring when Evil Nate came out. I'm like, what are you talking about? I wasn't in the Rumble.
That's right.
So I just, you know, played it off like nothing ever happened. You know, I was at the table. I'm like, I've been at this commentary table with you all the whole time.
That's the best way to do it.
So yeah, so that was my big return to the ring.
All right.
But that wasn't the only thing that you did that night.
Well, yeah, let me tell you about this.
Because we're about to play the video of it too.
So,
right here.
The end of the Rumble Royale, if you haven't seen it, go to the Elite Wrestling Alliance YouTube channel. Look up Rumble Royale Part 3. And that's got the Rumble match on it itself. So, if you're not aware, I manage a guy named Picture Perfect Jordan Cage, who's a great talent, great guy, and all that stuff. So I've managed him for years, and I've been around him for even longer than I've even managed him. We have a lot of great chemistry together.
Yeah, y'all do?
Yeah, I will say that. So he almost gets eliminated, and then I interfere, you know, to keep him from getting eliminated.
Yeah.
You know, everything I can do to keep him in, you know, in the ring, in the match, and all that stuff. So eventually, it comes down to Jordan Cage, Marty Clay, and Jacob Ratliff. And Jacob Ratliff and Marty Clay are out on the ring apron, and Jordan's been taking a little breather. So he sees this, and he sees them from behind. He comes in, bips them both. They both go flying off of the ring apron to the floor. Jordan Cage is declared the winner.
Yep.
And then I get in the ring, and I help celebrate with him. He's the #1 contender for the EWA Heavyweight Championship at this point. Can call his shot pretty much for any night that he wants a shot at the title against the champion is Omega. And
Ooh.
so,
How you think that'll play out?
I think that's going to be one heck of a match.
Here
I
it
think.
comes.
Here they are. They're on the
Have they
apron.
set a stipulation yet?
No, I think it's just a title match.
Not yet.
But so anyway, I help him celebrate the win and all that, and I get the idea, and I think it's a great idea, and it was actually a stupid idea to run a victory lap. So I stick my hands up, the number ones, boom,
Yeah.
and I start running laps around the ring. And to me, it feels like I'm running 100 miles an hour. But then when I watch it back on the video, I can see I'm only just barely trotting. And it looks like I'm running in slow motion.
And we're about to see here's Bobby hitting the ring.
Here it comes.
Oh, gosh.
Racing Jordan
Here
with
it
a big old
comes.
hug.
Greatest job there ever was.
Golly, look at that.
Bobby's going
Look at that.
wild.
Lots of energy. Look at you. You're
That's-
wild for your friend.
That's the most energy you'll ever see me have at 51 years old.
And now here it comes. Here it comes. You're gearing it up.
There
Yep.
he goes.
There we go.
Oh.
Oh, I'm already blown up. Look at it. Look, I'm already sucking wind. Look at that.
He's jogging, folks. He's jogging. And he did it longer than that.
Yeah.
That's the newest show.
Yeah, I only did about 5 or 6 laps
Yeah.
right there, but this past time at Prime 15, when it gets released on YouTube here in a couple of weeks, I think we're going to be on part 3. I did about 25 laps, maybe.
Yeah,
It seems
that's
like
what it
Yeah.
felt like.
25 laps. Look at that. Okay, I'm doing this right here, praising Jordan.
You just trying to get air.
Yeah, and you can see, look at my face, look at my face. I had trouble trying to get back up.
Oh, man.
So anyway, yeah. But what most people don't know that night of the Rumble Royale is I usually have an energy drink before the show. I'll start drinking the energy drink, like if the show starts at 7, I'll start drinking it at about 6 o'clock. Well, so I can kind of sip it, slowly and all that stuff for that hour before the show starts, so I can be on fire for the show when I'm doing the commentary and stuff. So look at that shot. That's a great shot. I make sure I find the camera everywhere I'm at. But anyway, so I usually sip it and all that stuff. Well, there was a lot of stuff going down that night, and I had a lot of stuff to get together and all that. So I realized it's like 6:45. Show starts at 7. I haven't made it through my Monster energy drink, and Monster cans are that tall, and about that big around. So I just grab this thing and I just down it, and I drink it all in just a couple of shots. So I'm sitting there and everything's fine, and I'm doing commentary, and I'm like, golly, we're doing a great job on commentary. I'm on fire, So it comes down to it. My number gets called in the Rumble, number 7. I get up, I do my entrance, I go into the ring, I do my mic work, I climb over the top. Nate comes out, I climb over the top, I get to the floor, I go back to the table, and I continue to do commentary. Well, while I'm sitting there, I can't get my breath, and I'm just like, and Aaron's over here on my left, and Trippin' Balls is on my right. And I look over Trippin' Balls, and I'm wide-eyed, and my chest is starting to feel tight.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, uh-oh. And something's not right. And then I look over at Aaron, and I'm still doing commentary. I'm not missing a beat on commentary. I look over at Aaron, and I'm like this, wide-eyed and everything. And he's like, we got a little microphone that comes around the headsets and over to the mouth, and he puts it up, and he's got a little button he can push to mute himself.
Yeah.
He said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I don't think so." And he's like, "Do you need me to call an ambulance?" I'm like, "No, show got to go on. We got to go on." And it felt like, with me not being able to get my breath and with my chest tightening like that, it was tightening right around my heart. So it felt like that I was getting ready to throw myself into a heart attack, and it was really, really, really scary. And it was one of the scariest things that I've ever been through, me, at a wrestling show.
Wow, man.
And the thing is you got to think, I'm 51 years old now.
Yes, sir.
I'm way out of shape. I'm not in ring shape. I haven't been in ring shape for years. I downed that energy drink.
Yeah.
Real quick. So I'm kind of attributing that to drinking that energy drink so fast and not spacing it out like I did. Look at that. I'm going to the ring right now on the video. Pretty over. But anyway, so it was really very scary. I mean, I was able to calm down enough to do what I had, happened at the end of the match. But I mean, I was very on edge after that. And Crystal Bregman, she's also a EMT.
Okay.
She does picture. You see her right there with the camera right there.
Yeah.
She was like, "Are you okay?" No, I told her, I explained to her what was going on and everything. She said, "You very well could have had could have thrown yourself into a heart attack like that." She said, "You got to watch these energy drinks."
That's right.
Yeah. So luckily, nothing else happened after that. But I will say that it was absolutely, positively scary, and I thought that was going to be my last moments on Earth.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah. So, but luckily I'm still here.
That's right.
Is this made out of wood?
Yep.
Okay. Knock on wood. But anyway, yeah. So that was that. So that was a great night.
Have you looked into mushroom coffee at all or anything like that? Trying to get off of energy drinks?
Somebody brought that up. But actually, this past time at Prime 15, I went back to Red Bull because I switched from Red Bull, never had any issues, and went to Monster. Didn't have any issues with Monster until I gulped it down real quick.
Yeah.
And then I went back to Red Bull and drank it slowly. No issues whatsoever. So, but I will say that it was definitely scary. I'm glad that I didn't have a heart attack. So
we didn't want to lose a legend.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say a legend. I'm just some guy that didn't quit.
You're a legend to me.
Well, I appreciate that. But yeah, and we're watching the video right now of me doing my thing, going into the ring for the Rumble Royale and then going over the top and then going back to the table. And I did nothing right there physical whatsoever that would trigger anything.
Exactly.
But I don't know. It was weird. It was a scary feeling and everything. And I'm glad that nothing came out of it. I'm glad that nothing happened and all that stuff. And I'm glad that I was able to live to see another day. Because it very well could have been, bad news.
Yeah.
It could have. But you're here and you're being honored this Saturday night.
Absolutely.
At Generation Next Pro Wrestling, the Bobby Blade Appreciation Night.
Yep.
But I've noticed something.
What's that?
It only says it's appreciation night for the fans to appreciate you, but not Generation Next to appreciate you. What's up with that?
I don't know. I mean, they haven't told me if they're doing something or not. So I don't know if they're doing something or not, or if it's just, hey, come up and meet Bobby Blade or something. So we'll find out Saturday. I know I'm very excited about it. Saturday night, right there. The venue has changed. It was originally going to be at Marshall Park.
Yep.
It was going to be an outside show in Georgetown, Kentucky. However, there's going to be some bad weather this weekend, supposedly.
Yeah.
So they moved it inside to the, let's see, where is it? Is the Georgetown Middle School, 730 South Hamilton Street, Georgetown, Kentucky. Doors open at 6:30. Bell time is at 7. Front row tickets are $20 for ringside. $15 or front row is $20 for front row. Ringside is $15, and the bleachers are $10. So make sure you're there to see Lone Wolf Bobby Blade Appreciation Night. The name of the show, it's good. Generation Next Pro Wrestling Homecoming Stampede is the name of the show. In the main event that night, you're going to see the Generation Next Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion Corey Calhoun will defend against the Ghostmaker Drew Dillinger, and that's going to be one heck of a match right there. Drew Dillinger is a former two-time Gen Next Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. We're going to see if he can make it a third time.
Yep.
Corey Calhoun just won the title a couple of months ago.
Hell yeah.
And they won it from Kellen Craven, who won it from Jackie Thad earlier that night. So
I remember that.
Yeah.
Because Kellen Craven held the title back in 2023.
Yep.
Lost it. And he held it for a while, but he lost it again this year.
Yep. Jackie Thad had a stranglehold on that, lost it to Suicide for a couple of months, won it back from Suicide,
Nice.
and then lost it to Kellen Craven. And then Corey Calhoun had the contract earlier that night. He won the contract, so he cashed that in after the main event and beat Kellen Craven and won the GMPW Heavyweight Championship from him.
Hell yeah.
So Corey Calhoun will be defending against the Ghostmaker Drew Dillinger. Like I said, Drew Dillinger, two-time, one of the few men to hold the GMPW title twice.
Nice.
It was Drew Dillinger, Jackie Thad, and Kellen Craven.
Yep.
I believe those are the only ones.
If he wins this weekend, will he be the first 3-time?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he'll be the first 3-time Gen Next heavyweight champion.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
And you know, we were there when he was champion back in the bar brawl era.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, when Gaston finally captured the title, it was because Drew was still champion. And Gaston took his shot. That's back then. Now Gaston's gotten even better since then.
Yeah.
He'll hit you with those sipping knee.
Let me tell you something. Gaston LaRue is one of my favorite younger guys to watch these days.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Gaston LaRue, Ethan Heyer, you know, those guys, especially when they wrestle each other, they completely kill it every single time they go out. You know. Also, too, this Saturday night, you're going to see legendary Larry D as he takes on Troy Parker.
Oh,
That's going to be great.
That's gonna be-
Troy Park.
Yeah, that's going to be a battle of the brutes. You know, that's going to be a hoss battle right
That's
there.
right, a hoss fight.
I think that's what the kids call it these days, hoss fight.
Yep.
Hoss fight.
Now look, we got Cash Atkinson. What about this guy?
I like Cash Atkins. Yeah, he's
He's a feisty kid, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Ace Carmichael impressed me.
yeah.
And look at Doomsday. He comes back. He decides that he's coming out of retirement, and he's making a name for himself inside this Rumble Royale.
Yep.
He's the guy to eliminate.
Yep. Also, so you know, Larry D versus Troy Parker. That's gonna be one heck of a match. You know.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a brawl. That could very well be a fight. You know.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the way it's got to be, because these two guys they're pound for pound some of the best wrestlers right now.
Yeah.
Both of them are hard hitting as hell, man.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a banger.
Yeah, you're also going to see the Doom Switch, Aaron Gray, you know, one half of Heavy Doom,
Yep.
is going to be taking on the former champion, Kellen Craven.
Hell yeah.
Kellen Craven, you know, he's super over. Super, they love him at Gen Next, you know. Those people love him. And the people hate Aaron Gray, but, I mean, the thing is, though, is Aaron Gray, you know, he's still fairly new to the business. You know, so you haven't seen his full potential yet.
That's right.
But I think you're going to see something special, you know, with Aaron Gray and Kellen Craven that night. Also, too, you're going to see DD Jinx making his Gen Next debut against Jay Money, who just recently returned. I don't know a lot of. I've never seen DD Jinx yet. I've got to look him up and you know, get some details on him and everything before this Saturday, so I can, you know, call this match properly.
Yes.
Jay Money, I know very little about, but I know that he's been at Gen Next for quite a while.
Yep.
And then
He brings the party.
yeah, and he was gone for a long time, and then he just came back, you know, just a couple of months ago. So I gotta get up to speed on both of those guys before this Saturday night. Then also too, you're going to see a mixed match challenge. You're going to see Mr. Everything Max Sled, who I'm very familiar with. He has been around for over 24, 25 years now, something like that.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard to say because I remember him the first day he started. The first day he started, I was there. And
Yeah, you've also been inside the stable with him, the Red Wolf Mafia.
yeah, Red Wolf Mafia. Yeah, that was a great little tag team we had. I kept turning on him every chance I got. Though. But anyway, he's going to be teaming up with the Dreamer, Paige Jones.
Nah.
So it's going to be Backslid and Paige Jones teaming up against Debo Johnson, the other half of Heavy Doom, and Stevie Ash, the undisputed, would you say, Gen Next women's champion.
That's right.
She's been dominant over everybody that she's been in the ring with. That spinning back fist can come out of nowhere, and as soon as it hits you, if it hits you, no matter how big you are, that's it. It's
That's
over.
right.
I mean, she's done.
Damn.
Yeah, she's done a lot of women like that. Bam! Just out of the blue, and then 1, 2, 3. She's got her hand raised. She retains her title. So yeah. So and then also too, you know, Lone Wolf Bobby Blade Appreciation Night that night. I expect you there, B Money.
This Saturday?
Yeah, you ain't coming.
This
I
Saturday?
dare you to come. I
You
dare
better
you
come
to
to
come.
show your appreciation.
What are you doing this weekend? What are you doing Saturday? What are you planning?
Shit, I ain't got no plans.
Well, then
I
you
See?
better be there.
You ain't got no,
there.
you ain't got no excuse.
Saturday.
You ain't got no excuse to miss it then.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
I'll be there.
And I'm going to make the same challenge to everybody watching right now. If you're not already coming, I'm daring you to be there, because you're going to see a great card of action that night. The Georgetown Middle School. What's the address? 730 South Hamilton Street, Georgetown, Kentucky. Don't miss it. It's going to be a great night for everybody. It's going to be a great night for me. I'll be doing commentary that night with my Gen Next partner, Nick Manawa.
Heck yeah.
You know, we finally found our groove. You know, we've had a groove for a long time, but yeah, Nick Manawa.
That's right.
But we found our groove. We have our own style that we call there. Every place that I call wrestling at, you do commentary at wrestling at, I do a different style at
That's
each
the
one.
way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I've got my own style with Nick that I do. I got my own style with Aaron Rose at EWA that I do. I also do commentary at AMW as well with Rated X Jimmy Walls and Aaron Rose. Yeah, I mean, have a great time. But each place I do it at, it's a different style of commentary.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, and I'm having a blast, man. You know, when I wrestled from 1991 to 2018, and let me put this in perspective. Let me break it down a little bit farther.
Break it down.
But anyway, I started in 1991. It was Wednesday night, August the 7th, 1991, Scottsburg, Indiana. I had my very first ever match with a guy named Mr. Irresistible Terry Ember. He beat me in 4 minutes and 28 seconds. Jammin' Jimmy Lamb was in his corner on the floor. Beat me with a chain wrapped around his fist drop off the top. Boom. Beat me.
Great stuff.
So, I wrestled consistently from 1991 to 2013. I had my first last match in 2013. Then I stayed around as a manager for one more year, 2014. And then when I left, I left the wrestling business altogether in 2014. And I was burnt out. I wasn't having fun. You know,
Understandable.
it wasn't fun anymore, you know. So I left the business. I didn't have any plans of returning or anything like that. 2016, my friend Jeff Vickers, who wrestled as Country Cousin Jeffro and Sheik,
Aftershock.
yeah, Sheik Aftershock, you know, whatever you want to call it. I just called him Jeff. He passed away in 2016. Primetime Wrestling had a Jeff Vickers Memorial Battle Royal, and Larry D ended up calling me, and he said, "Hey, we're going to have." Let me take a drink. I'm already parched.
That's right.
He called me and said, "Hey, we're going to do a Jeff Vickers Memorial Battle Royal. Would you like to be in it to honor your friend's memory?" Absolutely. You know, I'll do it. No problem. So I had to get my license real quick and all that stuff, and so I was in the Battle Royal, and from 2016 to 2018, I had a handful of matches. And then 2018, I broke my collarbone.
Oh no.
And had my last official match with Hollywood Adam Swayze.
Which is a great guy.
Yeah, great wrestler, and he's gotten even better, you know, over time and all that stuff.
Yep. He just returned at NWA.
Yeah. So anyway, had my last match July 15th, 2018, Hollywood Adam Swayze at PTW Elite 2018. I was done in the ring. That was it.
Yep.
So I moved over to commentary and did commentary for a couple more years. Then things shut down in early 2020 for COVID.
Yeah.
And at this point, I was bitter. I was angry. I was angry at wrestling. Didn't want nothing else to do with it. I was done. That was it. I was done. So, completely done. Completely done.
Yeah.
So then, I got some messages from some people at a place called the Nice Guy Indie Podcast. I don't know if you all know them or not.
I think I've heard of them
I think
before.
I've heard of him.
This was in 2023.
Yep.
or maybe
No, 2022.
2022, yeah, because it was still a little bit. And I came on the show here, and I did an appearance, and had a lot of fun talking about wrestling. But you got to remember, I was burnout, angry, bitter. Anything that you hear about angry, bitter old vets, that was me. Came on here, had a lot of fun talking about wrestling and everything, and then came back on again a few months later with Scott Diamond, and we went. That's what the night we had the longest podcast ever.
Yep.
You know,
4 hours and 13 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't stop talking. We talked about wrestling the entire time.
Oh man,
I started getting the itch.
we might have to do
right.
part 2 of that one.
Yeah, we
That'd be
definitely
great. So I started getting the itch, and I'm just like, man, I do miss wrestling. You know, I miss it way more than I thought I did. You know, stuff like that, and I'm like, so the more I thought about it, the more I got the itch, and the more I got the itch, the more I wanted to get back into it. But I didn't say nothing to nobody. And then Tiny, Aaron Rose, called me, and he said, hey, he's like, hey, Bobo. He's like, there's a group that's starting up called the Elite Wrestling Alliance, and they're going to have their first show here in, the next, I don't know, next month or something like that. And he's like, the commentary team is supposed to be me, Aaron Rose, and DJ Otis Badass.
Yep.
But Otis is not going to be able to make the first 3 shows. And he says, is there any way that I can convince you to come back long enough to fill in for him for those 3 shows? And I'm like, Aaron, you're asking a lot. I always said once I got out, that was going to be it. I wasn't going to be the guy that keeps coming back. Well, I came back.
Hell yeah.
I went and got my license, and I sent him a picture of it, and I said crap. And that was all I put underneath was crap. And he sent me a message back, said, yay! I still got the message on my phone. So he calls the powers that be at EWA and says, Bobby's in. We got him for 3 shows. Okay, great. So I go do the first show at EWA. And everything went great. And I had a lot of fun. And the first show for EWA was the very first Rumble Royale. I'm like, that couldn't have went any better. That was great.
Yeah.
And
not to mention you were also part of New South before that.
No. New South came after this.
Oh, it came after?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, so Tiny calls me again after that first EWA show, and he's like, well, the commentary team over at New South Wrestling in Lawrenceburg is me, Aaron Rose, and DJ Otis Badass.
Yep.
But the same thing applies with Otis over there. He's not going to be able to make the first, the next, 3 weeks or whatever it is. Can you fill in for him? And I'm like, dang it, Aaron! Because my thing was I was just going to do these 3 shows. That was going to be it.
Yeah.
So I go to New South, and that went amazing. And my first night there with New South, I turned heel in the main event and sided with Jordan Cage against Lord Crew.
Yeah.
So, and I made sure to say when I walked in the building, this is just for commentary. Nothing else. Just only commentary. No managing. Well, here I am managing Jordan Cage. And doing commentary.
Great.
And doing and doing commentary too. So I'm doing commentary on a bi-weekly basis. So every 2 weeks, doing commentary for them, doing commentary for EWA, and then Shay Mercer messages me. And he says, he runs a show called XCF up in Indiana. And he's like, we're doing a benefit show for Larry. Would you like to be a part of it? Absolutely. So I go up and do that show. Well, I'm hooked at this point. So I said, might as well just take all the bookings I can. So I start taking all these bookings for the EWA. I start taking all the bookings for New South Wrestling. But I had a bad showing at XCF, so I never went back there. I was asked to come back, but it was my own volition not going back. because I did so bad that night and everything. I was like, I can't face these people again. So, but anyway, so I'm getting booked by EWA and New South, all their shows. Well, Gen X says we're having a show. I don't remember what the show was for, but it was a benefit as well.
Yeah.
So, would you like to come do that? Absolutely. So I come there, and they're doing a thing to name. I think it was. It was the title was vacant, and they were going to name the next heavyweight champion. So I came out and introduced the main event. Is what it was. Got the crowd geared up for the main event, and that was all I did. And then I didn't hear anything for a long time. So a little bit of time went by and everything, and I continued to work for New South and EWA, and I thought that was going to be the extent of it. Well, so that goes good majority of 2023 and 2024, and then about halfway through 2024, Larry gets a hold of me, Larry D, and he says, hey, or Max actually got a hold of me and said, hey, come do commentary. Okay. So now I'm on all the Generation Next Pro Wrestling shows. So now I've got all of GNPW, and I've got all of EWA shows, and New South had shut down by this time.
Yeah.
Which New South was an extremely positive experience for me.
It really was.
I love New South. But anyway, so I'm doing those shows, and everything's going great, and people are telling me that the commentary is starting to get noticed, like outside the state and outside the area and all that stuff. Zodiac, he went to a show in, I don't know if it was Arizona, it was somewhere out west.
Talking about recently?
Yeah,
they just went to Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona, and he told me that people out there were talking about our commentary.
No shit.
Yeah, so our commentary is getting noticed all the way out there and everything. Which makes sense because we're on YouTube and we're on High Spots TV.
Yeah.
That's right.
But anyway, sorry, I got a tickle in my throat.
That's all right.
But anyway, Appalachian Mountain Wrestling has been around for about 9 years. They have great shows, right? So they're getting ready to do TV tapings for YouTube tapings for a show weekly called Showdown.
Yep.
So I didn't let anybody know that I was going to go except for Aaron Rose. I'd like to go up and I'd like to visit with X, Rated X, and some of the older guys.
Speaking of X, he said something for you.
Uh-oh.
He said this. He said, Blade, you at any man which today?
No! No. Let me guess, he's going to tell me he's a 19-time MWA heavyweight champion as well, right?
He does like to say it.
Yeah. So anyway, where was I at? Oh, yeah, so I told Aaron Rose, I said, I'd like to go to the show with you. I'd like to go up and visit Rated X. I hadn't seen him for a while. And I'd like to visit, Stan Sierra, a lot of the older guys and everything that I knew that I hadn't seen for a while. So he's like, yeah, come on with me. So I show up, and I show up, and they're like, you want to do something tonight? And I'm like, I don't know, you want me to? I'm like, yeah, do a Wolf Den segment. And I'm like, I haven't done a Wolf Den segment in like 15 years. So I did a Wolf Den segment that night, which actually aired on episode 3 of Showdown, because they did, several weeks worth of taping that night. And then I've been on every episode of Showdown ever since, and doing commentary with X and doing commentary with Aaron Rose. And
you're right, Bobby. He said, 19-time MWA champion, most of all time.
Oh, jeez. Can you boot him out of the chat? Is it too late for that?
It's never too late, Bobby.
Can you block him from the whole channel? But anyway, so at this point now, I'm working for Appalachian Mountain Wrestling, AMW, Generation Next Pro Wrestling, and the Elite Wrestling Alliance.
Yep.
Well, that's not enough. So, coming up in September, I'll be adding the Kentucky Wrestling Federation to that resume. So I'll be doing all of those shows, as long as they're taped. I'll be doing commentary on all those shows as well. This year, so far, this year alone, and this is only May,
Right.
I have worked on more shows in these first 5 months than I've worked in the last 2 years combined.
My God.
And I still have
Nice job walking away, Bob.
yeah, I know. And I still have at least that many more bookings going through till November.
Yeah.
Mr. Rose said, I love you, Bobby.
Hey, Crystal, how you doing?
Chucky Smooth says, not a better guy in indie wrestling in the state of Kentucky than Bobby Blade. Never heard of
That's
anyone
right.
speak a bad word about him.
Well, stick around. You'll hear a lot. You'll hear a lot bad about me. I love Chucky. Chucky's great.
We had him on last week, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
Ah.
Good episode.
I have to go back and watch it.
What about the elbow, though, Chuck?
Yeah.
That elbow ain't never.
Everybody agrees, Bobby.
Dude, we was watching one last week, and it was at the Continental Inn. You hit it on somebody, and dude, it was right in the sternum.
Yeah, he like Bobby would tell you that. He'll hit you with it, and then he'll hit you right
if
here.
you've never been hit in the sternum,
Yeah.
it is like it sucks, and then it like lingers for a couple days. Like
No,
the
it
pain,
doesn't.
That's
the
what Chucky
pain.
said.
You don't know.
Yes,
You've never been. I'll hit you with one on top of his table.
No, I've been,
Yeah, let him hit
I've been
you with
hitting the
one.
sternum though. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
though,
not been hit with the elbow.
you probably should not accept Bobby's offer to take
No,
it.
no, I'm good.
After
I'm
what they
good.
all say.
Well, the
I'm
thing
good.
is, I'm 51 years old now. I might not get up.
Oh no,
I might not get up. I mean, that's.
you might hit it, and then both of y'all be down.
I know
after
it.
a while.
But yeah, so that's for somebody that's supposedly walking away from the business and everything, for me to work, as many more shows than I have the last couple of years in the first 5 months of the year, and still got at least that many more to go for the rest of the year.
That's right.
That's that's not walking away.
No.
Dizzle said,
I think I might be in this for the long haul.
hell yeah, you are. And I'm glad that we told you, Bobby, we think you can cut that, bro. Because I remember when you came on here, 2022, see, I don't think I can cut that pro no more. And then we said, go on, do it for us, Bobby. And then you saw the light flick on because as soon as you start the first line of the pro, you start going and going, bam, you hit every note.
Shoot, I was on fire.
Yeah, you was.
I'll see. So I got that show coming up this Saturday in Georgetown, Kentucky,
That's right.
May the 17th, and then I'll be going on vacation. So next
Much
week,
deserved.
next week I won't have any shows at all. But then when I come back from vacation, we will be the Elite Wrestling Alliance will be in Nicholasville at the Coolidge Building.
Good place.
That is one stacked show, and let me bring up the poster here so I can tell you who all is going to be there, because it's a great lineup. I don't know the matches except for the main event yet. So I'll get to that in just a second. As soon as let me bring this poster
Oh,
up.
thank you, Maggie May. She sent us 99 stars.
Oh,
Right.
thank you.
Well,
That's my mom right there. Thank you, Mom.
How much do I get out of that?
I'll give you half a star.
We'll send you a check.
All right, so Friday night, May the 30th, the Elite Wrestling Alliance will be at the Coolidge Building, 501 East Maple Street, Nicholasville, Kentucky. Doors open 6 p.m., bell time 7 p.m. The Elite Wrestling Alliance presents the All-Star Classic. The main event that evening will be the EWA Heavyweight Champion Omega defending against my best friend in the whole wide world, picture perfect, Jordan Cage.
Wow!
And guess what? That is his best friend in the whole wide world.
Not only the whole world, not only the wide world, the whole wide world.
That's
Wow.
right.
So that night, you are going to see, you're not only going to see that match in your main event for the EWA Heavyweight Championship, you're also going to see on the card the Iron Demon, Shane Mercer. You heard his name. You heard his name mentioned on Raw.
That's right.
You've heard his name mentioned on NXT.
Yeah.
As well,
Yep.
LFG.
Yeah, LFG. Yeah, that's right. What did I say? NXT.
Yeah.
LFG.
Because remember, LFG, the girl hit the
Yeah.
dude that he made famous.
Yep. And the thing is it wowed the Undertaker.
It did.
When you can wow the Undertaker, you are the man. Shane Mercer is the man. The Iron Demon will be there May the 30th. Also, too, on the card, you're going to see the big man, Congo Kong, will be in action.
Oh, we like that.
Oh, yeah. You're also going to see the EWA Heritage Champion, The undeniable Chris Crow. Chris Crow's really been making a name for himself these last couple of years.
He'll beat the shoes off you.
Yeah, oh yeah, and he will kick you in the crotch.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything about that because I don't want to be kicked in the crotch. But that's
you are the crotch kicking.
Yeah, that's kind of my spot. So I hope he's not wearing. I hope he don't try. I don't want to have to file no lawsuit against gimmick infringement there. So anyway,
you'll have to get the gimmick infringement on him.
Also that night, you're going to see the New South Wrestling Tag Team Champions Hollywood Adam Swayze and Rex, the Box Office Blondes, will be in action. You're also going to see Cash Atkins. Troy Parker is going to be there. The headliner, Chris Michaels, Marvelous, Marcus Johnson, Mr. Big Time, Mr. Larger Than Life, Ethan Heyer is going to be there, and then also the Raging Goddess, Lexi Green, will all be in Nicholasville, Kentucky that night. In action, the All-Star Classic presented by the Elite Wrestling Alliance, Friday night, May the 30th. Doors open 6 p.m. Bell time 7 p.m. The Coolidge Building is the place to be. 501 East Maple Street, Nicholasville, Kentucky. Do not miss it. We will see you at ringside. Oh my God!
You're fired.
Oh,
How could that charisma ever walk away from wrestling?
I don't think I'm going to now. I think I'm going to be the next. Well, let me put it to you this way. Rated X, the last time I did commentary with him, he said he was the Lance Russell of the commentary team, and he said I was the Dave Brown. I think it might be a little bit the other way around. I was the Lance Russell. He was the Dave Brown. Tony Presley has called me a young Tony Schiavone before, and that's much appreciated. That's one of the best compliments that I've had since becoming a commentator.
Yep.
So, and I've gotten so much positive feedback about my commentary. And the thing is I wouldn't be able to do this without such great partners. It's not just me doing commentary. It's also at the EWA, it's me and Aaron Rose, and then me and Aaron Rose and Trippin' Balls. And then at Generation Next Pro Wrestling, it's me and Nick Manawa. And and then at AMW for a couple episodes at least, not these past 2 episodes that just aired on Showdown. But it was me and Rated X Jimmy Walls, and we had the time of our life doing it. And then at KWF, it's going to be me and a guy named Kenneth Smith, who used to referee for the UWF for several years back in the day. Made his way back to the EWA last year, I believe it was. I think it was last year. And didn't stick around, but he's making his way back and going to try his hand at commentary and all that stuff. So that's going to be something new for him. But anyway, these guys, Tiny, Aaron Rose, if you don't know who Tiny is, Aaron Rose and Nick Manawa, I'm learning something from them every single time that I go to do commentary with them.
That's right.
They're great teachers. They're tremendous teachers. And I couldn't be where I'm at doing commentary and be trusted on the microphone and be in the soundtrack of Kentucky, some of the promotions in Kentucky, not all of Kentucky wrestling, obviously, but some of the promotions in Kentucky wrestling. I wouldn't be able to do that and be as good as I am on it without them as such fantastic teachers. So I owe Nick Manawa and I owe Aaron Rose a lot as far as doing commentary goes.
Exactly.
Those guys, man, they really help me out. They bring out the best in me and everything. And we have a great time on top of that. We do great jobs. We do a great job at commentary at no matter which promotion we're working for, because we put our all into it. We love this. We love doing this. And the thing is
right.
A lot of guys, they want to keep coming back and getting back into the ring and all that stuff, and go for that one more run, one more match, one more match.
One more match.
I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I'm 51 years old. I've done everything that I wanted to accomplish in wrestling except for one thing, and that was to work for the USWA back in the day, the United States Wrestling Association, Memphis.
Yep.
That's the one thing I didn't get to accomplish that I had a personal goal for.
Yeah.
But that's closed down now, so that's obviously not a thing anymore. But I've accomplished everything that I've set out to do. The thing is when I started in 1991, I wasn't supposed to last. I was always the guy that people looked at and said, "You're not going to make it. You're not going to last." Well, obviously I didn't make it big time, but I was able to stick around this long.
Right.
So I have I have longevity, in me and all that stuff. So, that was with constant reinventions and stuff like that. Every time something would get stale, I'd reinvent myself. To kind of keep, kind of like what Chris Jericho does.
And how Undertaker would do it.
Undertaker would do the same thing and everything. But I would do the same thing on a much smaller scale, obviously. But I'm not looking for that one more match. I'm not looking for that one last run. I'm 51 years old. My time is not now. My time is no longer now. The time now belongs to the younger talent.
Yeah.
Let the younger talent handle the in-ring stuff. Just let me provide the soundtrack to their careers.
Yeah,
that's right.
There you go.
And you're never too old to learn either.
And like I said, every time that I do commentary with Nick or Aaron, I'm learning something.
And hell, they might even teach you some production value too.
Hey, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn from Aaron. Yeah. So anyway, the EWA, Aaron's got this setup that he takes to all the shows that he's booked on if they need them, and it's got all this equipment and everything like that. So EWA has bought that same style of equipment, I believe.
Yeah.
So Aaron is showing me slowly. I'm trying to pick it up as I go and all that stuff because I'm a slow learner now. But he's showing me how to set things up, how to hook things up, and stuff like that. So, in case I'm in an EWA show and they're using their equipment that night, I'll know how to do it and how to operate it and stuff like that. So, I'm hoping that I can eventually learn it and they can turn me loose, and I'll know what to do and when and where to hook things up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a while because it's way more complicated than anything that I've ever dealt with. But still,
that's the best kind of learning experience.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to death. I'm thrilled to death that I was able to come back after being so bitter and so angry at wrestling, to come back and be able to do the commentary, learn how to do it properly. Because before, when I was doing it before COVID shut down, I was just yelling into the microphone. Yell, 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 yell. That'll get their attention.
Yeah.
That's not the case at all. You call the moves, okay? You call the moves. You call the match, what's going on in the ring. You talk about the backstories. You talk about the history of the wrestlers in the ring and everything like that. And then if there's any gaps, you fill in that gaps with what am I looking for here?
Anecdote.
With conversation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's like, say if we're at an EWA show and me and Aaron Rose are doing commentary, we'll call what's going on in the ring and we try not to miss anything.
Yeah.
And I know that we do and everything because we get caught up sometimes. But anyway, we call all the moves that are happening in the ring. We tell the history of the match. We tell the history of the wrestlers in the ring. And then also, too, we'll have conversation to fill in any dead air that we have. So we constantly, are talking a good, 99% of the time. So, and that's really been appreciated by everybody, by promoters, by the wrestlers. I can't tell you how many times Gaston LaRue has messaged me and said, you guys you do such a wonderful job on commentary. I appreciate you all so much. And thank you. I do appreciate that. That's the best compliment that I can get nowadays is we enjoyed your commentary.
Yeah.
Marty Clay told me, he said, sometimes I'll just turn on a show and let it run while I'm doing something just to listen to you all do commentary.
Nice.
So I'm like, that's
what I'm talking about.
That's awesome.
That's a praise.
And that's our champion too. I'm praising you.
Yeah.
It shows that he knows where the money's at. That you gotta get the gab.
And not only is he the Nice Guy Indie Podcast champion,
but he's Appalachian Mountain Wrestling champion.
Yep, that's what I was getting ready to say. But
Marty Two Belts.
Yeah. But I'm thrilled to be able to provide the soundtrack for the younger wrestlers' careers now. As long as they're in, coming through the area and stuff like that. I love it. There's no thrill. Honestly, when I first started, people didn't film like they film now.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't have the commentary and all that stuff. It was just, set up a camera, 40 feet away from the ring and hopefully it gets everything in action,
Yeah.
But if they filmed then like they do now, I would have went straight for a commentary spot instead of wrestling. I would have went straight for that instead of wrestling.
That's a high honor right there that you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean,
Because if they did have camera work like that back then, you would have been on a commentary, would have tore it up as a great commentator.
yeah, I appreciate that. Look at me right there. I don't have my glasses on. Cameraman standing right in front of me. We're watching episode 3 of AMW Showdown right now. This is the debut of the Wolf Den 2025. Because there is a difference between the current Wolf Dens and the previous Wolf Dens. But I have my glasses off. The cameraman, Dylan, is literally probably 5 feet in front of me. I can't see him.
Oh,
man.
I can't. I have no idea.
Dang.
I can't see him. My eyesight is horrible.
Hey, but that's okay because it looks like you can see him just by how you're talking.
Well, he's got a light on the camera, and I just kind of like look at the light and all that stuff. So
Hey, that's a smart strategy for someone that's blind.
yeah, but yeah, I'm like I said, man. You know, I would have went straight for commentary right off the bat. I would have skipped wrestling. I would have skipped managing. If it was up to me, I would have been just a straight up commentator this whole time for the last 34 years. You know.
But then we wouldn't have gotten the famous Bobby Blade elbow drop, the famous Bobby Blade cutter.
Yeah, but maybe if I didn't do all that, I could walk today.
Hey, you're right.
I walk with a permanent limp now. And it's not just because I'm fat. Because my hips messed up.
Yeah.
Jeez, oh Pete.
It's because you were dropping the elbow off aprons and hitting the ground too at the same time.
Dropping the elbow off the apron like an idiot.
Hey,
Show after show after show. Golly.
I think the elbow drop was great though.
Well, the thing was, it was great. It was a great visual. The thing was the people got to expect it, and when I didn't do it, they booed. And so I had to do it.
Is it the same Mick Foley elbow?
Yeah.
Oh,
I do it.
Running down the ring apron and jumping off and boom.
oh.
Honestly, that's my favorite kind of elbow drop because when he hit it, I could see the inspiration as well because you were hitting it the same way.
Well, the funny thing is what made me feel so good about it was, you know, not only the reaction, but every time I would land on the guys and hearing them go, was the best feeling. I always felt so proud of myself. I hit it on Donnie Green Jr. one night, and he was face down, and I hit it in his back, and he's like, I thought you were going to break my back. I'm like, I wasn't trying to, but if it did, you know, just go with it.
That's right. If his back breaks, his back breaks.
Yeah.
And that's why Chucky Smooth said, "Fuck Bobby Blade's elbow drop." He's there to leave you.
Did he say that? Did he say that?
No, but along the lines he could have.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He said that you said that you hit the sternum, and he's like, "Ooh, it's hurting for weeks."
It would drive all the air out of my opponent's body, and their face would be all beat red and everything.
That's what you want.
And
That's
I'd
what
get-
you want. That's
yeah.
the point of the match.
I'd get up and I'd go, ha!
Nice.
And that's why they all say the worst move they've ever taken is a Bobby Blade elbow drop.
It wasn't that bad. It would be for me now. I wouldn't. You know, the last time I hit it was on Hollywood Adam Swayze in 20. What am I boring you?
No, sir, I've been at work since 5 this morning.
Oh my gosh, 5.
Yes, sir.
Oh jeez.
You never bore us,
You can
Bobby.
never bore me, man.
so anyway, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying.
You said that you hit your last
yeah.
elbow drop on Adam Swayze.
I hit on Adam Swayze, and it took me some time to get up off of the ground. And I was
Man.
yep, that's it. I was gonna have one more match after the Adam Swayze match. I was gonna do a War Games match.
Yeah.
But I broke my collarbone, and I was like, that's
Oh,
it,
no.
I'm done. That's it, I'm done.
How'd you break your collarbone?
Taking a Sister Abigail.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
He gave me a Sister Abigail, and when I landed right on my shoulder,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I over rotated or what, but it landed on the shoulder, and I heard a pop and felt the pop, and I was like, well, that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then when I go to get up, I go to push myself up. That didn't happen. Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
man, that hurts. That hurts. Something wrong. And I said, that's it. So,
You understood.
yeah.
But does Adam Swayze still contact you to tell you, why'd your elbow drop me so hard?
No. I I'm going to be seeing Adam Swayze coming up more because him and Rex, just the box office blondes, just made their debut not too long ago at AMW here.
Remember, they are New South people.
Yep, New South Tag Team Champions still.
Yeah,
that's right.
So they're going to be on the May 30th All-Star Classic show in Nicholasville.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so
I love those guys.
yeah, I do too. Great guys.
Especially Rex. I remember when Donnie Green was there and Rex is talking his crap and Donnie Green tells him, "You better get your big ass back out of the ring or I'm going to take your ass out." And then Rex said, "Okay, I will get out of the ring not because you told me to, but because I feel like it."
Yeah.
And he got back inside. That was one of the greatest interactions I've ever saw from a old school wrestler and a new school wrestler.
Yeah. I tell you what, it's I'm having a blast on doing this now, man. It's like I don't like the trips to the shows.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, me getting ready to go to the shows is I'm just kind of like, ugh, you know, dragging and dragging and dragging. But once I get to the building, I'm on fire and I'm ready to go. You know.
Good deal.
You know, so
That's right.
I'm having a great time doing these shows, and I've got a bunch of shows, you know, still coming up and everything. And I'm grateful, you know, to be 51 years old and still being asked to be parts of shows and stuff.
Yeah.
That's right. And the fans still love you.
Yeah.
Because when you got up on a commentary table, that's the biggest pop of that night. I'm not joking. That was the biggest pop I ever heard that night.
What, at the Rumble Royale?
Yep.
Well,
they heard your theme song.
Well, they the thing was, you know, it was the new theme song. It was the first time it was played at a show, so you know they didn't really know it. But when I got up and everything, they popped for that because they knew something ridiculous was getting ready to happen, you know, and something ridiculous ensued, and you know, and it was great.
But I feel like it was mostly because they loved Bobby Blade.
I don't know.
Because we just watched this show where the fans were chanting your name in before you came out that curtain.
Yeah, I know.
I'm telling you, Bobby, there's something special about Bobby Blade.
I don't know what it is yet. I just won't quit.
It's the elbow drop.
You ain't got it in you, man. The business is in you and it ain't gonna leave.
I know, man. I know. I wonder, you know, how much more time exactly do I have left in the business? You know, that's the thing. I don't know exactly how much more time I've got in the business. Hopefully, it's a long time.
We all hope.
Yeah, I hope so.
But you know, just one day you're gonna wake up and you'll know. And until that day comes,
just have fun.
Yeah. But you know, so anyway, what I was getting to earlier before I distracted myself was, you know, when I left the business in 2020, when everything shut down, I was angry and bitter and all that stuff. I'm glad I got to come back and have this opportunity to do commentary and actually have fun and have a great time with it and everything. So I'm getting to end my career on a positive note again.
That's right.
You know, so that's a great feeling. You know, and like I said, you know, this is definitely my last run. However, this last run could last 2 more years. It could last 10 more years. You know, but this is definitely it. You know, once this run is over with, I'm 51 years old.
Yeah.
You know, nobody wants a 80-year-old guy out there doing kind of, he's picked him up for a body slam, you know, stuff like that.
If you're 80 and still cut that promo, hell yes, we still want you.
That's great.
I can't drop elbows anymore, but I can gum you to death.
There you go. We'll get some Jared's Hall and give you a walker and head you out there.
Yeah.
And no more elbow drops, just a walk.
You know how, speaking of old and rated X, you know how you know somebody is old? Is when they constantly tell you they're 19-time MWA heavyweight champion.
He does like to remind you.
I know it. So I got this Saturday, May the 17th, Generation X Pro Wrestling. Lone Wolf Bobby Blade Appreciation Night, the Homecoming Stampede, Georgetown, Kentucky. Don't miss it. In 2 weeks from this Friday will be the Elite Wrestling Alliance, Nicholasville, Kentucky, at the Coolidge Building. That's going to be a great night. Also, too, like I said, I won't have any shows next week because I'll be on vacation. But I do want to give a special shout out to the Kentucky Wrestling Federation Block Party Bash
A promotion that you should check out.
Yep, it's they're going to have their first official show. Well, it's a block party bash.
Yep.
So it's going to be between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. So if you get off of work at 5 o'clock, get over there as quickly as you possible. Bring a chair with you if you can, because seats are going to be limited. I believe it's an outside show.
Yep.
I believe. But you're going to have a lot of stars that you haven't seen for a while are going to be in action that night. Frank the Tank's going to be there.
Hell yeah.
Jacob Ratliff, no good Jacob Ratliff's going to be there.
Yeah.
Showtime Sean Christopher, who we haven't seen in this area in a long, long time. He's going to be there that night.
Can't wait.
Yeah. I won't be there because I'll be
He's
on
enjoying his
vacation.
vacation.
Yeah, I'll be on
Much
vacation.
deserved.
But I want to wish them a whole lot of luck on the first show next week. And then after that, I believe they won't be back in action until September.
Yep.
So, and I will be part of that. But anyway, so I've got, what have I got here? Blah, 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 blah. I'll be at the AMW show in Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for it.
Yeah, the return to Lexington for wrestling. The last time wrestling was in Lexington that wasn't WWE or AEW was New South Wrestling.
That's right.
And with the New South Wrestling takeover happening in AMW right now,
I can love it.
yeah, you're going to see some great things happen there. Summer Bash, that's right? Summer
Yep,
Bash.
that's what it's called.
Yeah, is what the show is going to be called. It's going to be on June the 15th, Lexington, Kentucky, at the Lexington Ice Center. It's going to be a huge night. And I'm assuming we're going to be filming for Showdown that night. I'm assuming so.
Hell yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. I haven't got the official word on that, so don't know exactly yet.
Keep our
We do,
fingers
that's
crossed for
cool
that.
too.
Yeah. And then we're going to have EWA back in Danville on June the 20th for Prime 16. Is that Prime 16? It is Prime 16. I want to make sure I got my numbers right there.
Yep.
Prime 16, June the 20th, EWA will return to Danville at the Jenny Rogers Community Center. We're there every month. Always have a great show. It's always a great time. Bring the family, bring your mama, bring your granny, bring your daddy, bring your papa, bring the kids, load all the 800 kids up into the van and
That's
bring them.
right.
You know, bring them by in the nice guy Indy van.
Hell yeah,
blah
we
blah blah. And
Our band's big enough.
have a great night there. And then let's see, we will be back in Danville, Kentucky, EWA for Gold Rush on July the 11th.
Hell yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, that's going to be. Don't know anything about that show that night except for the winner of the #1 contender tournament for the EWA, for a shot at the EWA Heritage title, will face the EWA Heritage champion, undeniable Chris Crow, provided he's still the champion at that point in time on that night.
That's right.
And then July the 12th, I will be getting inducted into my 5th Hall of Fame.
Much deserved, brother.
Thank you. The Commonwealth Professional Wrestling Legacy Hall of Fame in Somerset, Kentucky, at the rural. That's hard to say. Rural RURL Center in Somerset, Kentucky. That's going to be a great night too. There's a lot of inductees for that night, and I'll bring them up for you either. Hold on just a second. But there's also some stuff going to happen that night too that I can't tell just yet because it's not made official, but I can tell you the people getting inducted.
Hell yeah. We already know that Bobby Blade's there.
Yep, here we
We
go.
know that Terry England's there too.
All right, hold on. We have James Kendrick, Mike Woody, Jonathan Barnes, Professor Bear, Terry England, and Lone Wolf Bobby Blade. And then there's another headliner that's to be named soon that we don't know just yet.
Yeah.
So that's going to be announced at the TCW show, I think this weekend is what he said.
Hell yeah.
So, but anyway, that's July the 12th. That'll be my 5th Hall of Fame. And then also, too, that's probably all I can announce right now because nothing else has been made public,
Yeah.
if you will. So,
If you will.
that's all I'm going to say right now. Plus, two,
Announcements coming soon.
announcements coming soon. Keep your eyes peeled on all the promotions that I work for. because there are going to be more dates added. Promoters and bookers, if you want me a part of your show, you need to contact me ASAP. Tell me these dates because my dates are filling up quickly.
That's right.
So get to me pretty fast because I did not expect to get this many bookings.
Hey, that just shows just how in demand
Yeah.
Lone Wolf Bobby Blade still is.
Not to brag, not to toot my own horn, but toot toot.
5 times, 5 times,
That's right.
5 times, 5 times, 5 times Kentucky Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You know who don't like that though?
Who?
Ray X.
I know because he's a 19-time heavyweight champion. But anyway, though, the dates that I just rattled off are not the only dates that I have. They're just the only ones that I can say right now. I can assure you that I have as many dates that I've already worked this year, I've still got for the rest of the year, and there's more incoming as we
That's
go
right.
on. So yeah, it's I've been very busy when it comes to the wrestling front.
That's what I'm talking about. When you try to tell us that you were out, I knew in my heart that you were just telling yourself that because you were feeling bitter. But I knew that deep down somewhere inside there you were thinking, there ain't no way I can give this up.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you hit that promo, you that light turn on, that's when I started seeing you at EWA. Then when I was at New South, suddenly I see Bobby Blade come out and cut the promo. I'm like, yep, he's back. Because that's when you start the 50 and Fat tour, and now look at you.
Yeah, it was the 50 and Fat tour, and then it was the 50, 51 and Still Fat tour,
Yeah.
and I'm currently on the 52 and Overwhelmingly Fat tour,
Yep.
and then next year will be the 53 and Morbidly Obese tour. So,
Jacob Ratliff said, "What's up, Bobby?"
hey, Jacob Ratliff, I love Jacob Ratliff.
Me too.
You know, Jacob will message me sometimes and everything, and we'll sit there and have conversations and all that stuff, and he'll ask advice, and he's one of the few people that come to me for advice, and that's very, very much appreciated. Seriously, that is thank you for doing that, Jacob.
That's why I feel like a lot of other young guys should be doing too, because you offered it,
Yep,
and I'm surprised that none of them take you up on it.
yep. What is this, the Weekend of Champions?
Yep.
Yeah, Weekend of Champions was a
I
great
was
show.
there. I was up close to this moment.
Yeah,
You come out there and you're talking it, and I think this is gonna be Lord Chase Emery. No, it's gonna be Lord Murphy Coskin that comes out.
no, this is me making my opinion, giving my opinion on the main event.
Oh yeah, now I remember.
What they had me do at the Weekend of Champions, I did backstage correspondence, so I did a bunch of backstage interviews.
Yeah.
And then I did a Wolf Den with Rip Rogers that night, Hustler
Yep.
Rip Rogers. Great Hall of Famer, been around forever, ICW legend,
And he put over
WCW.
Kentucky, but good.
Yeah, love Rip Rogers to death. He's awesome, great guy.
One of the greatest trainers.
And then they wanted me to come out at the very beginning of the show and give my opinion on who I thought was going to win the main event. Well, we're in Jackson, Kentucky this night, and also too,
Give me one.
if you have not seen this show, Appalachian Mountain Wrestling Weekend of Champions 2025, go to YouTube. It's free on YouTube now. It was a pay-per-view, but now it's free on YouTube. You can freely watch it, and it's a great show. But I come out. The main event that night was Sexy Stan Sierra defending the AMW Heavyweight Championship against Kyle Maggard and Marty Clay in a three-way, in a triple threat.
That's right.
And so they wanted me to go out and give my opinion on who I thought was going to win that match. And the thing was, Stan Sierra at that point was 1,238 days into his heavyweight championship reign.
Yeah.
He was.
Which is a great, amazing feat. That hasn't been done since the day, Dale TNT Man was the last person that's held a title in the state of Kentucky
Yes, right.
that long. It's 1,238-day reign. So I go out and I say, you got to think about Marty Clay. Marty Clay said if he couldn't beat Stan Sierra tonight for the AMW championship, he was going to hang it up. He was going to leave AMW and he was going to go find, greener pastures elsewhere and all that stuff. And you got to think about Kyle Maggard, who was in the match as well.
That's right.
1 year ago tonight, he had turned on Marty Clay You know,
I was
so
there
gotta,
for that moment too.
you got to think about him. Is he going to win the title tonight? But you cannot. But they've asked me to give my opinion on who I think is going to win tonight. You cannot deny a 1,238-day reign from Sexy Stan Sierra. I think your winner of the main event is going to be Sexy Stan Sierra, and that place started booing.
Yep.
Because Jackson, Kentucky is Marty Clay territory, and they did not like the fact that I was siding with Sexy Stan Sierra, and that was a great feeling too. And I love the boos. I love to be booed.
Yeah.
I'd rather
being heel's the best.
Yeah, I'd rather be booed. I'd rather be booed than cheered. 10 times out of 10 times.
Nice.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you know what? Stan Sierra tried to cheat to get that win, and you know who stopped it? Rated X. He restarted the match, and Mark Clay rightfully ended up winning the title.
But then you saw Tony Presley get involved.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And Misery got involved. Yeah, and they dropped Kyle Maggard with that chair.
Yep.
And that's drawn the ire of Kyle Maggard, and you've seen the last several weeks.
All we got are frozen waters.
Yeah.
You've seen the last several weeks on AMW television. Kyle Maggard's been trying to get Tony Presley, and Tony Presley's been trying everything that he can do to stop Kyle Maggard from appearing on AMW television.
That's right.
So I mean, it's good TV. You know,
It is.
It's good TV. It's you never know what's going to happen and all that stuff. Look at there, Nick Hamrick right there.
That's a great guy right there.
This is we're watching the Weekend of Champions right now. The first match of the night was the Go for the Gold match, where they it's kind of like the Money in the Bank, where they have a contract up in the briefcase hanging above the ring. You use ladders to go up there and get it. And the contract was for whoever gets it gets to challenge. I think it was for any title in the conglomerate of the Sisterhood promotions there.
Yep.
Which was AMW, EWA, USWF, UCW, FTC, and there's a couple more. There's so many promotions that are working together there.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah, but this was a great match right here.
Jacob Ratliff's over here just putting you over.
Yep.
Is he?
Oh,
He
yeah.
is.
Oh man, I
He
love
said-
Jacob Ratliff.
He said, more young guys should ask you for advice. You have helped me out tremendously. Also, you are just a good guy to talk to in general. I could ask you for feedback or just hit you up and talk territory wrestling. Bobby Blade is a true legend and a great guy.
Thank you. I very much appreciate that, Jacob. Seriously, that's a great compliment. As far as advice go, I can give advice. I didn't say it could be good advice, though.
That's right. But hey, the young guys should definitely be hitting up the older veterans, because what better way to get experience than to ask and learn from their learning tree?
Absolutely. The thing that here's the thing. I'm gonna get on my soapbox.
All right.
And so here's the thing. The wrestlers of today are more athletic than the wrestlers of my day.
Yes.
Yeah.
They can get up and down. They can go. They can do all this stuff. Spot fest and whatever you want to say and all this. They can do all this stuff. They got us on that.
Yeah.
In the ring, hands down, they're better than us.
Yep.
However, my day, I think we had better crowd work, mic skills, promos and stuff like that. We got them in that. We told stories.
Yeah.
We told stories with our mouths and stuff like that. Now, I think that what wrestling today, and this is my opinion, and I don't mean to offend anybody, wrestling today, in my opinion, should find a happy medium where the new school guys and the old school guys can come together, and everybody listens to everybody, and they blend both styles together. What we did back in the day, the guys of today don't necessarily do. What they do now, the guys back in my day don't necessarily do.
Right.
We could benefit, from being a happy medium.
That's right.
Take the action of today mixed with the old school storytelling of from back in the day and all that stuff. I think we had personalities that were larger than life, and I believe that that could be applied to the wrestlers of today.
Sure could.
Yeah, but I mean, everything else keep the same. Because their in-ring action is better.
Yeah.
Yep. But I will say the one thing to change is doing too many high-flying spots, because the fans ain't gonna remember the spot that you just did clip, you just did another one.
Yeah,
You gotta cut back on that too much.
That's true, but you know, I like wrestling. I love wrestling.
Me too.
You know, I love wrestling of all styles, whether it's old school wrestling, you know, from Memphis, whether it's new school wrestling from, you know, current times and all that stuff. You know, I watch hardcore. I like it. You know, stuff. You know, anything. I like it all together. However, I like the blend of it all.
Yeah.
Me too.
You know, I don't like, you know, just you know, strictly, you know, just everything's hardcore. I don't like everything's all new school, everything's all old school. I think there should be something on every show for everybody, to where anybody that buys a ticket to come in to see your show is entertained by everything that they're seeing in the ring. You know,
Exactly.
they can be happy with something that's in front of them at all times. You know, does that make sense?
No, yes.
It makes a very sense.
Yeah.
No, when you're describing that, one of the wrestlers that came to mind was Rob Van Dam.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
A hardcore wrestler, but could wrestle.
Yep.
He was a high flyer, had the martial arts background. You know, and just incorporated the hardcore style in with his wrestling.
Yeah, and the thing was you know, Rob Van Dam, you know, he could do the hardcore matches, he could do all the crazy stuff. He could do the new school spots, new school wrestling and all that stuff. He could slow it down and work old school if he wanted to. He could do promos, you know, he's the complete package, you know. He could do it all, and I would love to like see younger guys get more of a out there approach as far as promo styles go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, you know, have the wild and crazy promos, you know. I miss the days of the Roddy Pipers. You know, Roddy Piper cutting promo, and it's just insane.
Yeah.
You know, and I know he's not one of the favorites today, and I know a lot of people hate him, but Hulk Hogan cut a great promo back in the day.
Oh, he did.
You know, and you know, Ric Flair with his you know, promos completely out there and all that stuff. You know, I think nowadays we do too much of well, such and such is a great athlete, and I'm so lucky to be in the ring with him. You know, I just hope that I can, you know, I hope that I'm lucky enough to be able to beat them.
Yeah.
Where's the conflict?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
Well, where's the confidence in
I want
it?
to
Yeah.
smack your grandma
Yeah.
on the front row. Yeah.
and this is a thing that I see a lot today too, and a lot of people are going to disagree with this.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, and they have every right to disagree with this, but I'm seeing this as an older person.
Right.
I started watching wrestling in 1977, and I still watch it today as a fan. I'm a fan of it all. So, when somebody wins a belt these days, okay, what they normally do is they get the belt and they cry. Back in the day, they would win the belt and they'd be like, heck yeah, I deserve this because, you know, I'm the man and, you know, it's finally my time and blah, 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 and everybody's going to follow me and so on and so forth.
That's right, Jacob.
What happened to those, you know,
Yeah.
what happened to those people?
Me too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I miss those kinds of wrestlers.
Yeah, I do too.
Like,
You know, like you said, confidence.
Yes.
Confidence.
Exactly.
You know, I know it's an overwhelming emotional moment for some people that they can't help it, you know, tear up and cry and everything.
I mean, like anything, it can be done, but it has to be done sparsely.
yeah,
When Shawn Michaels won it from Bret Hart, you know, he's down on his knees.
yeah,
Perfect. Io Sky winning it from, you know, the Triple Threat.
yeah.
Perfect.
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes, you know,
Yeah.
finally finishing that story. When those emotions come out, yeah. But
Yeah.
when every champion's doing it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes away from the feeling.
Yeah, when every title win is an emotional moment, then no title win is an emotional moment.
right.
You know, that's what I'm saying. You
It
know,
should have been, see, I told you guys
yeah,
what I've been saying this
Yeah.
whole time.
yeah, yep,
Because when you win a title, it should be the most important thing that you've won. But don't let the emotion come in, because now you're confident. You're letting them know, I told you I was going to win this title. I earned the right to have this title.
Big Monty's been sitting over there eyeballing me this whole night. I think he's wanting to try me.
He does.
He hadn't said nothing. What?
Hey, you know what?
Are you mad at me?
I've been.
No, you know what? He's thinking he can outrun you when he doesn't show up this weekend.
Well, he can't outrun me. I will not deny that. He can't outrun me.
He's going to try and drop the elbow on you, Bobby. Watch out.
I'm 51 and fat. I don't know if anybody's noticed.
You know that, Big Money's training to wrestle right now, right?
Yep, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
He's
That's what I
getting in
heard.
shape and he's going to be doing it with KWF.
Oh, are you?
Yes, sir.
Ah,
Yes,
that's
sir.
awesome. We'll see Big Money versus Tuffy Jr. one day.
Oh,
Yes, I want to
yeah.
see
I've
Big
been
Money take that
I've been
chop.
talking to Tuffy Jr. a little bit, trying to get him, more motivated to come in. But
Yep.
Now, Big Money, you know he likes to chop, right? You're going to have to get a chop session in where you learn how to take it.
He ain't gonna have a chance to get a chop on me, brother. His
Are you going to grab his arm and break it
his
off?
arm's gonna be ripped off. I can do whatever I want, son.
I mean, we're about to see because when you and Tuffy Jr. step into the ring
You're
together,
about to see.
Ooh.
You're about to see. You're about to see.
Man, you're about to
Hey,
rip
look.
his arm out, ain't you?
Yep, Big Money's gonna
Tuffy
rock.
Jr. Hey, you know that Tuffy's going to be training Tuffy Jr., right?
Yeah.
Hey, Tuffy ain't no joke, man. He still ain't no joke. He's been out for a while, but he ain't no joke.
He chopped me a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
This was after I let Tuffy Jr. chop me.
He's been showing up at the shows here lately. You
Yeah,
never know.
yes. I think that the itch is starting to get back to him.
The itch
And
never leaves.
We brought him on here, and I think the itch came back to him.
See, you guys are the catalyst for a lot of the older guys and everything coming back in.
Who let you guys leave, man?
We want the ladies to be able to get their
We're trying to.
stuff to it.
Oh, man. There's still a lot of left on the table, man. There's some fans who still haven't seen you.
Well, let's clear this table.
It's all about table legends because you guys left, but you got to remember, NWA is still talking about to this day.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, the Mountain Wrestling Association. Okay, it was around for 43 years. They ran from December 1969 all the way up to 2013. So 43 years, almost 44. Didn't quite make it 44, but it made it 43. The MWA has been gone since 2013, and it's still fondly talked about. People still ask about the MWA. They
That's
still
right.
talk about it. And when they talk about it, they talk about it with respect.
Yeah.
They talk about it with excitement, and they talk about it with passion and love and everything, because for a lot of the people that are still alive, that used to go to the MWA shows back in the 90s when I was over there in Georgetown,
Yeah.
I still get asked about stuff that I did back then. So they remember everything, they don't forget, things
That's
like
right.
that. So, I mean, that just shows their passion, and, they appreciate the history and the people that came before the current crop, stuff like that. And, I mean, the MWA was fantastic. The MWA,
That's why we're having NWA month 2
Yeah.
again.
What was your thoughts on our MWA month?
I loved it. I watched every episode, and because the thing is here's what I think I told Johnny Lee this one time when the MWA month was going on. I said, if you can get the Patriot and Chris Hayes to come to your podcast, you did something special.
Yep.
Because they don't make appearances ever.
We got them both.
Yeah.
Each,
Yeah, and it was a great episode.
great.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah.
We even had Playboy Scott Hayes inside the studio.
Yep. And Playboy, he doesn't do any appearances anymore.
Yep.
And the thing was the MWA is remembered fondly by everybody, by the fans and the workers alike and everything, because, most everybody had great experience there.
Well, I mean, the promoters, the wrestlers, everybody put their emotions into it.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody cared
Yeah.
when they were there.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, the thing was, and I've said this before, I think I said this on my first time on the
Yep, you
podcast,
did.
was when I was working at the MWA, I started in 91, but I didn't start the MWA until 1994. Okay? So, and Dale TNT Mann was the promoter then. And Dale, it wasn't just Georgetown that we ran. A lot of people get it in their mind and everything that the MWA was only running in Georgetown. But it wasn't. We were all over the place. We run all over the state of Kentucky, and then we go into the surrounding states and stuff like that too. And then once a year, Dale would take a big crew of guys on a tour out west, and they'd be gone like a month. I was lucky enough to go on the very last out west tour, but it was very scaled back, and it was only a week long.
Heck yeah.
So, but we got to wrestle, several nights that week and everything, and that was a great experience, That was my first time out west and all that stuff. I got to wrestle in North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska. So I got out there. That's not technically out west, but they used to go out farther. But that was the furthest they went for this tour. But so when Dale had it, we were running 4 to 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
In the spring and summer it was 5 nights a week. In the fall and winter it was 4 nights a week. And then when Fabulous Danny Fargo bought it from Dale, it was 3 to 4 nights a week. So, spring and summer was 4, fall and winter 3. And then eventually, when Chris Hayes bought it, it started off, Friday and Saturday. No, I'm sorry, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday. That's what he did for a little bit. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then that went Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for a while. And then back down to Saturday and Sunday. And then eventually dropped it to every Sunday with some, spot shows, here and there and all that stuff. And then once we
Johnny Lee got some messages just now.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry to cut you off.
Oh,
Sorry,
shit.
buddy.
Johnny Lee.
Let me finish my thought here before I forget it, because I'll lose it.
All right.
And then eventually it got to where it was, every Saturday, and then it got down to once a month. And then eventually, tapered off. So, yeah, but it was great. It was ran like a mini territory,
So, what brought it to an end? Did you have that information?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea. Because there at that point, I was away, and then I got a phone call saying that the MWA had their last show tonight, and I was like, what? And I was like, yeah, that was it.
Wow.
I was like, really? And I was sad, I was sad about it, because the MWA, that was the place. That was the place.
That's right.
All right.
Sorry,
Icon Lee, who the hell you calling boy?
Oh,
Because all you know how to do is run your mouth. You attacked me for no reason the last time. I'm not the one that cost you the towel, buddy. You thought that you could take on Marty Clay all that time, run that mouth, run the chop like you always do. So if you want your damn match, how about you go to Marty Clay and you set it up, buddy? Because all I'm here is jabbing jaws. Every time on the podcast, guy, SuperFly Johnny, and don't you ever call me a big boy no more. Because what I'm looking at is a piece of trash that talks a lot of crap, runs his mouth, and thinks that he's something special when our champion, Marty Clay, dethroned you. Ha! How about that?
Man, I don't think you want to talk to Icon Lee like that.
Hey, Johnny Lee.
I think
Johnny Lee.
I think Icon's brought some out in Johnny. I think Johnny.
I don't know if you've ever seen the side of Johnny. Even going through all the shit we went through last year with Andy, I didn't see him get this angry. He's upset right now.
Yeah, wouldn't you be? Have a man come onto your show, attack you just because he lost his title to someone who he said that he could beat.
What'd he do to your neck? Why was you in the brace?
Oh man,
He attacked my neck is what he did.
He punched him in the neck like 2 or 3 times.
Oh.
He had him in a chokehold.
He also had me taped up, Bobby Blade, right there inside the chair.
Grabbed some duct tape, taped him up.
I saw
And he
it.
called me Big Boy.
I saw it. I downloaded the episode and burned it to DVD. Started watching it over and over.
Of course you did, Bobby. Of course you did. Would you abandon him, though?
I would love to manage Icon Lee.
That'd be a good pairing.
Yeah, I would love to manage Icon Lee.
Oh, look, James Kendrick.
He did a respectable job as the Nice Guy Indie Podcast champion.
I'll give him that.
He did. He had it for longer than anybody else.
Yep.
So, you got to give him.
He was the longest reigning champion.
Yep, you got to give the devil his due. He did a great job. He did a great job representing
James
the podcast.
Kendrick said that he would talk to Icon Lee like that. Because James Kendrick still is owed a championship match. He said the Icon never gave it to him.
Oh, wow. Really?
Sounds like Icon was ducking and dodging some competition.
But that's okay, because now we got a champion that will fight and put the title on the line.
Well, Icon Lee did too, though.
I mean, he did, but guess what? You know how he won the title, though. First, he stole the belt. Then, the title got put on the line. Then he won it. Then he held it for a long time. Don't know how AJ won it from him, though. Because AJ beat him, and then he beat it and got it back.
Hey, the thing is, though, is eventually he did win the title, and he was champion for, what, 1 day short of a year, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
I'm thinking that was
64.
64.
Yep. And then Marty Clay beat him.
That's a big feat, though, to make it to 364.
Yeah. Like the same thing that I said about Stan Sierra, being the champion for 1,238 days for AMW is a great feat.
Oh,
Being a champion, being the Nice Guy Indie Podcast champion for 364 days is a great feat. Nobody else has done it,
Right.
And
Exactly.
so I mean, he can toot.
Yeah, he can toot his own horn because he did held it that long.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said that was long because he won it in 2023. All right.
Yeah.
And he continued to hold it all the way until earlier this year, when him and Mark Clay finally got to step to the ring, because he said that whoever was going to be there and whoever won the right to face him, he was going to face him. And I'll give him this: he held it 364 days.
Yep.
And Marty Clay just ended up proving that he was on his head game that day.
And he did defend it. He
That's
did defend
right.
it. Yeah, he took it. He defended it out of state. He defended
Yep.
it, all across the nation and everything.
He
so,
also showed it off to everybody,
yeah.
which is what Zodiac did, because Zodiac is our first champion. He was taking it and defending it everywhere. He defended for 26 title defenses that he won. But he defended for 27 title defenses and lost on 27 to Adrian Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
I kept up with that. Then Adrian lost it a couple months later to Matt Treya, who held it for a month. He sprained his finger. I don't know if he defended it anywhere else, but he sprained his finger and then he had to wait a while.
He only had it for a month.
Yep. That's what it felt like, because then he ended up taking on Adrian. Adrian won it back.
Adrian won it back, and then Icon Lee beat Adrian.
Yep. And then Icon Lee ended up holding the title for a long time.
Yeah, a long time. Longest
That
reigning
makes-
Nice Guy Indie Podcast.
Also,
He
he's
is,
the
he
second
is.
double champion, because Adrian won it from him, and then he won it back from Adrian.
Mhm.
So that makes him a two-time.
That's
champion.
right. Yep, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yep.
And thanks to that, the accumulation dates would make it a long time. But also, his second reign was longer than his first reign,
Yep.
because he held it far longer than he did the first time.
Yep. So I mean, he can hold his head up high about that and everything.
That's
Brag about that every chance that you can and everything. Because the thing is, if you don't do your own bragging, nobody else is going to brag for you.
this is true.
That's right.
I've been bragging for the last hour and a half. So
That's
Keep
right.
it going.
Hey, I mean, you are the greatest.
I wouldn't
Greatest.
say. I wouldn't say. I might be the oldest, but I wouldn't say the greatest.
You got the best
Look,
promo ability I know. Guys, ready?
5 Hall of Fames inside the state of Kentucky says you are one of the greatest.
That's right. And you deserve this more than anybody else.
Well, I appreciate that.
And Carl Anderson, give him the belt, damn it.
Yeah.
We know that you keep on sending him
Fighting
pictures
for
every
it.
time.
Still cage match.
You know, it's funny that he does that.
Let's let me see if I can find the picture while I'm doing this. Let's talk about this real quick. Carl Anderson, from formerly of WWE.
The Good
Yeah.
Brothers.
Yeah, the Good Brothers and everything, tag team with Luke Gallows and all that stuff.
Doc
When
Gallows.
he first started, he started with the Northern Wrestling Federation and the Mountain Wrestling Association.
Yep.
And he wrestled under his real name of Chad Allegra at that point in time.
That's actually a badass wrestling name.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is, for real. But, when I was active, I was the first ever, well, let me explain this. The MWA had a junior heavyweight championship, but then when Danny Fargo was the promoter, he switched it to the MWA light heavyweight championship.
Yeah.
Okay? So when he switched it to the light heavyweight championship, I was the first guy to hold that particular title. Not the junior championship,
Right.
but
Yeah.
the light heavyweight championship. I was the first guy to hold that particular title, so I consider the MWA light heavyweight championship belt my baby.
Hell yeah,
You know,
it is.
And I don't mean like the replica belts that were used later on. I'm talking about the original, the black strap, the MWA logo, the side plates and all that stuff.
Yep.
The original one. Well, the last person to hold that title was, before they got a new belt, was Chad Allegra. So he's still got that belt. You know, and I've been trying to, like, over the last 10, 15 years, trying to get that belt back. That particular belt back, because, you know, I was the first guy to hold it.
Right.
It's my baby. You know, I kind of want to have it for a keepsake, you know. So every once in a while, I still keep in contact with Carl Anderson. Every once in a while, he'll send me a picture
Oh no.
Oh no.
of the belt, and it's in horrible shape, and he's like, "I swear to God, I'll blow this belt up. You'll never see this belt again.
Oh,
I'm
man.
holding this belt." So he's holding this belt hostage and sending me hostage pictures of this belt in his possession and laughing about it.
Wow.
I would love nothing else but to have this belt. It's in terrible shape now. It's terrible condition. The last picture I got from him, the belt, it was like the plate was curled up, and it's missing pieces on it and everything, but still,
Yeah.
that belt meant more than any other belt to me. You know, 'cause that was my baby.
Right.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
So I'd love to have it back, but he's holding it hostage.
I
and
feel
laughing
like at
about it.
this point you gotta one-on-one, dude.
Think I just gotta
Carl
fight him?
Yeah, you're gonna have to hit him
That's
with the
the
elbow
only
drop. You
resolution.
gotta tell him, hey, give me the belt. Well, I'm gonna jump off this apron. I'm gonna hit you with the elbow drop, buddy.
Yeah, I actually talked to him. It was probably about maybe a month and a half ago. Talked to him, you know, on Twitter. So, I sent him a message asking him how he's doing and all that stuff, and I asked him about the belt, and he sent me pictures, and you'll never see him again.
God.
I'm like, man.
What a jerk!
Yeah.
All because he got ribbed so much that Dottie Green never ran him out. He's like, I can't do this no more. And for some reason, he's taking out a hell on you. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost like he thinks Bobby Blade was definitely in on those ribs.
He's a great dude and everything. He shouted me out one time on Twitter and everything.
Nice.
And he actually tweeted out a picture that I screenshotted because I thought it was pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah, he let's see.
You see, people, Bobby Blade and Chad Gallagher and
Who?
Carl Anderson.
Galagra.
Yes, Allegra were together
Yeah.
in NWA.
Yep.
You may know him better as Carl Anderson.
Man, we never got a response from Icon Lee.
He's not.
Yeah, you're
responding.
right.
He
Look,
must be
Icon,
shaking.
he
must
pops
be-
in. He pops in, runs his mouth, pops out.
Yeah,
Right?
he's
not
shaking.
gonna
He's
stick around
shaking
for-
in his boots right now.
I like Icon. I really do.
I'll give him this. Everyone hates his guts, you know he's doing it right.
Yeah.
I will say that he lives his gimmick, and a lot of people can get mad about, but what they gotta understand is that he's still Jane.
Who?
He's still under there. But Icon Lee is forever. That's how I'll say. But I got another person that's behind that. And
Yeah,
he's
but he
actually a very
attacked you.
intelligent person.
He attacked you.
I'm trying to find this picture of the belt because it's
He
ridiculous.
did attack me because he's a scaredy cat.
He broke your
He
freaking
he
neck.
blames Johnny for losing the belt. Johnny wasn't even in the damn building.
Exactly. And you know what? He didn't attack Andy, and Andy didn't show up until after he lost.
Did Andy put a hit on you?
I bet.
That was his boy. You know that.
I mean, I hit Andy with the double knees though. You ain't heard nothing from me since.
Yeah, but
Oh wow, that is beat up.
Oh man.
I'll put it up in the camera here so
You
can
will
see it.
never see that Bobby Blade. He's gonna hold it hostage forever.
That's as close as you're gonna get to it.
Am I,
That is the closest.
am I too close to the camera?
No,
you did
closer,
right.
closer.
closer.
A little bit
Move
closer.
it in.
Closer.
Keep going.
Y'all see
Keep
that?
going.
Okay, I see it.
Can't really see the damage to it.
There's a lot of damage to it, but anyway,
Yes, there, guys.
that's the last picture Carl Anderson sent me of the belt holding it hostage.
That's right.
So,
Shit, that was about a month ago.
yeah.
Man.
That's right. Here, let me film that. Let me take a picture of that. I can post it to the.
I can send it to you. You want me to send it to
Oh
you?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Or you just take a picture either way.
Got it.
All right, let me put my headset back on. Sorry, everybody.
Folks, that's how badly damaged the belt is.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, is I really want that belt back in my possession because, like I said, that means more than anything else. You know, as far as wrestling wise, that's the one keepsake that I want.
That's right.
You know, I've held it more times than anybody else. I had it 7 times. Nobody else has had it. I had some people come close. They've held it 6 times, but nobody's ever had it 7 times.
That's right.
So, you know, and then here's where he shouted me out.
Heck yeah. Miss you, Brother Bobby Blade. Thanks for all the elbows you dropped on me on the outside 60 years. That's why he's holding the belt hostage.
Yeah, because I dropped elbows on. Even Carl Anderson said something about the elbows.
Man, the elbows are coming back to haunt you, Bobby. All because you dropped them on him. He's like, you ain't getting this belt back no more.
No, I love Carl Anderson. Seriously, he's always been fantastic to me and everything. And the thing is, you know, he's made it. You know, he's made it in Japan. He's made it in TNA. He's made it in AEW. He's made it in WWE. Everywhere he's been at, he's been successful and everything.
Yeah.
And the thing is he's never once big timed me at all. Never once. He's always been the same guy. You know, he's always, hey, Bobby Blade, great to see. You know, great. You know, hope to hear from you soon. You know, blah blah blah. Every time I message him, he messages back. You know, it might take him a couple of hours because he's a busy man, but
that's right.
You know, he always messages back and everything. Wildcat Chris Harris, same way, man. Same. You know, I love Chris Harris. Chris Harris is my favorite opponent ever. You know, my favorite opponent ever because you always were going to have a good match. You always were going to look good, and everything's always going to make sense.
That's right.
Chris Harris has always been the same guy to me too, man. You know,
America's Most Wanted.
Yeah. Chris Harris he's always
going
to be top notch to me.
Has there
James
anybody
Storm is going to be at New South AMW at the Summer Bash.
Yep, James Storm, Cowboy James Storm. One half of America's Most Wanted will be at AMW, Appalachian Mountain Wrestling Summer Bash in Lexington, Kentucky at the Lexington Ice Center. June the 15th, it's on a Sunday, it's on Father's Day, it's on Aaron Rose's birthday.
Right.
Don't miss it. Be there with us.
Or we'll kick your ass if you're not.
I'm not going to. I mean,
you don't have to. Because if you drop the elbow drop now, you probably wouldn't be able to get up.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I forgot what I was just saying.
Somebody, is there anybody?
Oh, anybody who did hot shot you that anybody you want to name or just fuck them, move on.
Well, they were already a big name. Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
Nick Aldis, first class prick.
Oh man.
First class. I do not like him at all. I have nothing for Nick Aldis at all whatsoever.
What was your interaction like with him?
It was like I went up to introduce myself and I said, hey, I'm Bobby Blade, nice to meet you, you know, blah, 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 you know, this and that and all that. Glad to have you here tonight with us. And he goes, yeah. And then just kind of walked right past me and bumped into me.
Oh, son of
that was at New South, wasn't it?
Yeah, at New South. And then
I remember that.
And then he claimed that he drew the house, and the thing was the house was exactly the same as it was the other times without him there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He didn't bring one paying customer.
Damn. What an asshole.
He was a jerk. I mean, he was a jerk. Vader was a jerk.
I've heard stories
about
that.
I've heard stories too.
Vader was a jerk. I didn't like him. That was a disappointment.
Yeah.
You know, because to me, Vader is still the greatest big man of all time, I think.
Can't take that away from him.
Yeah, you can't take that away from him. His body of work speaks for itself. Amazing talent. But golly, as far as pricks go, there's Al Steele. And then there's Nick Aldis, and then there's Vader. Big Vader.
Did Al Steele ever clobber you with a chair like he did Chucky's?
I'm sure he did somewhere. I just don't remember it.
Also, reminder: this guy Al Steele won a poll on Facebook for who is the biggest prick. His competition was Donnie Green. I believe, wasn't it? What was it? Donnie Green was his competition.
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
And I think he won it by a good amount.
It was a landslide.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. Yeah. Everybody knows Al.
Every time Chuck gets on, first thing he says, well, fuck Al Steele. Last thing he says, it's always fuck Al Steele.
Fuck Al Steele.
Every time I'm around Al Steele, he always brings up the fact that we went to junior high together. I'm old enough to where it was called junior high. It wasn't middle school. It wasn't no middle school back then. It was junior high. And we went to junior high together, and I had some G.I. Joes that I was trading with somebody or something like that. So, because I was a G.I. Joe collector at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had the Hooded Cobra Commander, and I had the Crimson Twins, Tomax and Zaymot. Well, he says, can I see them real quick? So I'm like, I'll let him see them. I'll let him see one of the twins and the Hooded Cobra Commander, which was a mistake because he started playing with them in the desk and got caught. And teacher took him away. Her name was Miss Akins. I'll never forget her, at least in junior high. And so she took him away. So I'm like, this Hooded Cobra Commander took me forever to get.
Yeah.
Because it was one of them mail-off ones. You had to send like the little G.I. Joe flag points in and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it took me forever to get this Cobra Commander. And I'm like, okay, I only got one twin left. One of the Crimson Twins. It was like Zaymot, the worst one of the two. And I'm like, what good does one twin do? I'm missing one of the twins and the Hooded Cobra Commander that I worked so hard to get all these flag points to mail off and get this figure mailed back to me.
Yeah.
And then Al laughed about it for 30 plus years, almost 40 years. That was in the 80s.
And that's why he's the biggest friend.
Was y'all friends after that, like up
No.
to middle school? Or
No, that was
it.
it. That was the end of our friendship.
And then y'all met back again with wrestling, or?
Yeah, but we still weren't friends.
And they still don't talk.
And we still bring it up. I still let him know that he got my G.I. Joes taken away from me.
He wants his damn G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I want him back. I want the Hooded Cobra Commander and Tomax. I was left with Zaymot.
You know what you gotta do, don't you, Bobby?
What's
You gotta
that?
fight
You gotta
him,
sneak
too.
into his house while he's asleep and drop the elbow.
Well, he needs not to go to sleep tonight. That's all I'm saying. Because I know where he lives.
Because when you tried that the last time, he got scared.
Yeah, he did.
Scared.
Yeah, he did. I leaned up across the table and said, "Don't go to sleep tonight." And he's like, "Okay." And Bear was over there in that chair, and he's going, dude.
That is what Bear would do. But Al doesn't want that elbow drop. Because he's felt it before.
Yeah, he has. And I put extra steak on it. Yeah.
You'll give him some extra steak on it if he don't give you some. Give those G.I. Joes back.
Yep, absolutely.
Guess it's been what, 36 years?
Something like that, almost 40 years.
And he still laughs about it to this day. But yeah.
Hey.
I gotta
That's
know who is your favorite person or team that you've ever managed?
Oh, man. Oh, well, picture perfect Jordan Cage. I have a lot of fun with him. He's my best friend in the whole wide world, so.
Shout out.
So that's, yeah. I wish you could get him on here.
Yeah, I've been trying.
Hey, if
Well, hey,
you've been
this
trying
is your
as well.
best friend.
I know.
You got the hookup.
If you can get me and him in here, believe it or
I'll
not,
put y'all both together.
believe it or not, he's a little camera shy.
Yeah.
So, if you could get him and me in here together, he might do it.
Yeah.
So, I'll be down for that if he's down for it,
We're down for it.
Hey, we're
Yeah.
down for it.
Because
I've been wanting to get Jordan Cage and you together since 2023.
yeah. The thing is, Jordan Cage, he doesn't brag a lot. Here's the thing. Here's what I don't understand. These guys don't brag about their careers very often. You know what I'm saying? Brag about that stuff. This is something you did. It's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Felcher. He wrestled the Dream Team. Brutus Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Bound never talks about it.
Oh, come on.
Never talks about it.
I wouldn't shut up about it.
I know. I talked about I wrestled the Bushwhackers twice. I don't shut up about it. I'll tell you about it right now. I'll tell you everything we did in the match.
Hell
I
yeah.
want to hear about both these matches.
Yeah, that's right.
I talk about that all the time. But anyway, like Jordan Cage has wrestled Scott Steiner. He's wrestled.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's wrestled all these high-profile guys and everything, and never talks about them. And then when you ask him about them, he's just like, "Yeah, we had a match." I'm like, I know you want to downplay it, to where you don't seem like a mark, but still,
Right.
you got to brag about some of the stuff that you did back in the day, because if you don't talk about it, nobody else is going to talk about it.
Here's my
Yeah,
thoughts
it's
on
gonna
that
get
Mark
forgotten.
thing. Here's my thoughts on that Mark thing. If you think that you're a mark for marking out about who you wrestled, that's a big time wrestler, you're kind of wrong, because we all start out marks.
I'm still a mark.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
I still am. I don't care.
Well, and here's the thing, like Jordan Cage or any of those guys talking about you know, the legends or whoever they've been in the ring with, that's not them marking out. That's giving us an opportunity to mark out on them.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
Jordan, that's an opportunity for me to mark out on you.
Yeah.
Like,
And also that
now I can be
flowers.
Jordan Cage. Now I can be Jordan Cage mark because he was in the ring with fucking Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they had a great match. And it was an unlisted video, and he sent the link to me, and he's like, watch how horrible this is. He thinks he's awful, and he's awesome.
He is not awful.
He's awesome.
I have watched his matches these last 3 years, and I have not seen one awful Jordan Cage match. Him even higher put on a banger.
Let me tell you something. Jordan Cage, I legitimately think this. I think that he is the most slept on, unsung hero, not hero, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Talent in pro wrestling in Kentucky in the last 20 years.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I wish he could see that in himself, but he doesn't.
Some guys, they just can't see it. Sometimes
Yeah.
they have this feeling where they think that they're trash when they're not. But, hey, one day he'll realize, you know what? I did that. I was badass, and I was awesome with my best friend in the whole wide world, Bobby Blake.
Yep. And the thing is me and Jordan Cage have such tremendous chemistry with each other.
Yes.
And which like
Yeah,
we're a
he did.
well-oiled machine, you know, when we're out there together and everything. He plays off of me, I play off of him. You know, everything just comes together and everything. And it's like there's no wasted motion with us. You know, everything flows picture perfectly, you know, to do that.
Yep.
And but I mean, yeah, it's great. It's great. I love working with Jordan Cage.
That's
I
right.
love working with Jordan Cage.
You know what,
Love
Bobby? We've been on here 2 hours.
You suck. You cut me off. I'm not done talking yet. All right, here's where you can see me. Let me get this in before we
That's
go
right.
home here. Let me take a big drink of water because I'm going to go for 5 minutes. All right, here's where you can see me. Come see me while I'm still alive. You can see me this Saturday night. Generation X Pro Wrestling Homecoming Stampede, Georgetown, Kentucky at the Georgetown Middle School. You can see me at the Coolidge Building in Nicholasville, Kentucky, Friday night, May the 30th, EWA All-Star Classic. You can see me on at AMW at Summer Bash, Lexington, Kentucky, at the Lexington Ice Center. You can see me at EWA Danville, Kentucky for Prime 16. You can see me EWA in Danville on July the 11th. Yeah, July the 11th. I didn't say the last date. That's June 20th for Prime
Hell yeah.
16. July the 11th for Gold Rush, EWA Danville, Kentucky. The Hall of Fame in Somerset, Kentucky on July the 12th. Don't miss that. That's going to be a great evening with a lot of people who are going to be honored, definitely deserve it. I can't say that date or 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 that date yet because, yeah.
That's
So
right.
anyway, come see me while I'm still alive. I'm 51 years old. I ain't going to be around forever. Hopefully I will be, but I ain't going to be around forever. And my time is dwindling down day by day. With each day that passes, as each day my life becomes shorter by 1 day. So come see me while you can. Don't stand over my casket and say, I wish I went to see him in Danville. I wish I went to see him in Georgetown. I wish I went to see him in Lexington. Come see me while you still can. I'm giving you the dates. There's going to be plenty more opportunities to see me because the dates keep coming rolling in. And I always post them on my Facebook page that you can find at Bobby Blade, or you can find my professional wrestling page at Lone Wolf Bobby Blade. The dates are posted there. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Lone Wolf Bobby Blade. See all kinds of action from the 90s, from the 80s, from the 2000s, from the 2010s. You can see all kinds of classic wrestling from all over the state of Kentucky, all over Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee, wherever I was at. You can see it there. Also, too, you subscribe to High Spots TV. You can hear my work on Generation X Pro Wrestling, doing commentary on some of the shows there. You can listen to my commentary on the AMW episodes of Showdown that are weekly, 7 p.m. on YouTube. Oh, man.
That's right.
You can also see You can also hear my work on the EWA shows on their YouTube channel. They are every month we upload 3 episodes from the previous month's show. You'll see it on there. You can see me at those dates that I told you about. You'll send me a friend request, but tell me that you saw me on the Nice Guy Indie podcast. Because if not, I won't accept it because I don't know who you are.
That's right.
Like my Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter. My Twitter's only got like 3 followers.
Gotta give them more than that. You've been slacking.
Yep, Lone Wolf Bobby Blade over there. Follow me at NDXBlade, all capital letters, on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. I don't have many videos up, but if there are some videos up on TikTok there, you can guarantee they're me putting myself over, just like I have these last 2 hours.
That's right.
Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to Hotspots TV. Subscribe to AMW on YouTube. Subscribe to EWA on YouTube. Is that it? I think that might be it. Subscribe to the Nice Guy Indie podcast.
Right. Greatest promo artist right now.
Holy crap, I'm tired. I'm blown up.
But hot damn, that was awesome. B-Money?
Another great night. It's good to see Joe again. I ain't seen you, and it's great to see Bobby again always. And yeah, I'm excited to see you.
You still ain't coming.
So I thought about it, and I might be going to Nashville this weekend. But hold on, wait. I will for sure be at the 23rd. That show.
Well, I'm not going to be there.
I'll definitely be at the Lexington show.
Okay.
I will definitely 100% be at the Lexington show.
You better be, or Bob Blake's going to hit you with the elbow drop next. Yeah, ask your dad how hard that is.
I might have my license by then. Who knows?
Oh, man. Oh, no.
Hey, they're coming into Lexington. Do they know whose territory Lexington is? That's mine. Four-time. Come and get it.
Oh, man.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
And thank you, Bobby Blade. You're an absolute legend, and I love you, brother.
Well, same here. Thank you.
That's right.
Quickly, I want to give a shout out to the Professor Bear Society podcast. Tonight's special guest is our very own Calamity Jane.
That's right.
Bobby, entertaining as always. Thank you for stepping back into the business, because your return was my introduction to you. So without that, I would only have these guys' stories to go off of.
That's right.
But getting to see you live, getting to hear your stories here on the podcast, it's truly an honor. And thank you.
Thank you. You missed out when I was really good.
If this is any indication, I did miss something.
That's right. Guys, I want to say one more time. The homicidal, genocidal, suicidal, death-defying Sabu, R.I.P. brother. One hell of an inspiration from the ECW days, and still the most talked about man that you're ever going to see. If you've never seen a Sabu match, go look it up. It's on YouTube. Man, I'll tell you what, on Twitter you can also find
I like the
some
one
of his
where
best.
Sandman's on acid.
Yeah. But guys, give it up for Sabu. Now guys, thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Check it right up. We saw your comments. Thank you, brother. Jimmy Walls, Ready X. We know you're 19-time champion. You still that means though that
Jimmy Walls.
That technically means that he lost it 19 times and regained it.
You know, I give him a bunch of crap about that and everything, about putting that over. But it's the same thing that I just said.
Yep.
If he didn't talk about it and brag about it and everything,
That's right.
it would die off.
Exactly.
We got to keep all this.
It's
Got to keep the memories alive.
Right.
That's right.
I love Jimmy Walls.
It's all about keeping the legacy alive.
Yeah.
Because if NWA were to go away, we would lose all that great history.
I ain't been in business since 2013, but it's still here. It's
That's
still
right.
alive.
And guys, I just want to say, if you're not having fun,
You ain't getting none.
damn, skip it. Yeet, yeet.
That was the remix.
Yep.